Recording. Hi everyone, Stephanie again. I thought I would come on here really briefly and just talk a little bit about why I don't personally invite clients to just be in self energy. And this question comes out of I'm teaching an intro to IFS at the moment, and someone said that one of the things that they're doing with clients is inviting them to do a meditation at the beginning of sessions, get into some self energy, the way that kind of Locke Kelly and others suggest, before they start the session. And I said well, I don't really do that with clients. And I know that in IFS, we do want to encourage self energy, and we do want to help our clients eventually access self. But for me, the thing that's really important about why I don't do that is that I think there's two problems. One is that it shames people who have trouble getting into self. First of all, just because someone can do a meditation at the beginning of a session doesn't mean that self-energy they accessed at the beginning is something that can carry on the rest of the session. It also sort of implicitly gives a message that self is better than parts. And also I want to say that for me, that I believe we access self-energy through listening to parts. That's not to say once we've got a good relationship with parts, we can't honestly ask our parts to unblend so that they can feel our energy and have access to us and we're a resource to them. But I think in the early days of especially trauma work, especially work with people who've had early relational wounding, this self-energy comes through when parts unblend. I heard a quote, and I haven't been able to actually find the source of the quote, so I'm just going to put it out there as I think it's a Dick Schwartz quote, but if anyone knows where the source is, let me know. But I heard a quote from Dick Schwartz that says, self has no power not granted by parts. And so for me, the parts blend, and they have to feel heard and held and understood and safe to unblend and begin to get into a relationship with self and trust that self can be there in the way that they've needed them to be. And when we've had trauma, our parts don't trust that or believe that. So for me, there's a couple of problems with wanting my client to be in self. First of all, it means I'm coming in with an agenda before I even begin as a therapist, and I want to be self-led, and I don't want to have an agenda. Do I have a goal for them to come to some healing and for their parts to get to know themselves? Yes. But I have no agenda about the timeline or how that will look. And I have no agenda of trying to help them do that from the perspective of get into self, right? And one of the things that's really important to me is I have a lot of clients who, if they think they have to be in self, they can't speak for what's going on. So when we go inside, some of the people who I'm working with, who seem to have the most trouble when we go inside are the ones who are like, I'm not getting anything, or why can't I do this? I'm distracted. And what they're not speaking for, because they think they have to be in self and they have to try and be in relationship to the target part we went to, is they're not speaking for in that moment. They've actually got a part going, you won't be able to do this. IFS doesn't work for you, or you've got to think of the right answer, or you're going to get this totally wrong. I know you always do, or Stephanie's going to judge you, or whatever. And because they don't feel they can say those things, and part of that is not anything I'm doing, that's part of their burden, right? Some of them, one of the ladies that I'm working with at the moment, her parts do that because she learnt really young, be careful what you say. And you have to be really good, and you have to know the right answer. So there's a lot of wounding around, I can't even say I'm afraid I won't have the right answer. And so I'm trying to just do this work in here, and what I'm getting is a lot of like, I don't seem to be connected to this part. Well, of course you're not. You can't connect to the part that we were going to when you're actually listening to another part. Now, if that person thinks they have to be in self, rather than say to me, oh, I can't feel towards that part from a place of caring or compassion or openness or understanding, because I've got this part saying, be careful what you say. You're going to get this wrong. But I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that I have that part, because I'm supposed to be doing something and I'm supposed to be in self, right? So for me, it's about slowing down when a person's saying, I'm not getting anything, or I'm distracted. It's like, okay, so maybe there's a distracting part. Maybe they're not aware of that. Maybe they have a part who's very spiritual, or a caring, nurturing part who says, no, I'm in self energy. I'm just not getting anything. And that's a whole other level of, I can't even know fully yet that there's a part here because I have to be in self. So I just really want to be careful. It's so important to me that when I'm coming into a session with a client, I'm not expecting them to be in self. I'm expecting them to be blended with a part. I am hearing the part. I'm tracking the part. I'm offering myself energy, my caring, my compassion, my clarity, my parts detecting. I'm noticing, oh, there's one, there's two, there's three parts, right? And they're all welcome here and it's okay. And is it okay for you to notice how many are here? Well, we've got a little tiny bit of unblending as soon as that happens. I don't have to try and help that person be in self in that moment. And oftentimes the feel towards question is a glitch for people. They go, uh-oh, feel towards, oh, now I'm supposed to be in self. So for me, I tend to wait a little while before I really bring that question until I'm already feeling some self energy for the client. And what do I mean by that? I'm just thinking, oh, I don't know that people will necessarily understand what I'm saying when I say that. What I mean by that is that when I sort of say something like, oh, so yeah, I'm hearing this one and this one, it makes so much sense to me that they feel this way, given what I know about what happened for you. And I'm wondering if it makes sense to you that this one's here and then these two cascade, right? And as soon as you've got that little bit of an unblending where they go, oh yeah, I see that. We have some self-energy because we have clarity and we have a little unblending. So then it may or may not be the time to bring in the feel towards question. It may be more of like, great, let that part know you understand the dynamic between these three parts. Let them all know you see that. See how it is for them to see you, for them to have you seeing them, sorry. So there's kind of like nuanced ways that we actually do that piece of work before I might see if there's enough self-energy by asking the feel towards question. And so I just wanted to kind of bring that piece in here to talk about why I don't necessarily do like, let's get into self-energy kind of stuff with a lot of my clients who have a lot of developmental wounding, because it silences voices. And I know people can feel very defensive about that and can feel like, I'm saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't try and be in self-energy with some clients. Some clients doing that meditation is at the beginning might be helpful. I just don't find it's very helpful for my clients, and it wouldn't have been helpful for me. I would have felt my therapist would, or my IFS practitioner would have had an agenda for me to be in self. If she was starting my session with, let's get some self-energy, I'd be like, uh-oh, I'm not allowed to be here with all of myself, because I have a very shame-saturated system. And when we have clients with shame-saturated systems, we have to be aware of that. We have to be very sensitive to that. So anyway, I'm hoping that's helpful to you all.